What's up, guys? It's me, SemiMong, back with some more Riders of Icarus. Now, this is going to be a slightly different top 5 video, and if you want to see any more top 5s within Riders of Icarus, whether that be classes, weapons, pets, or just general top 5s, be sure to leave them down below. But I want to try and put a bit more effort into the editing and just into the general style of the video. And before we jump into it, thank you for subscribing and supporting us. We've just hit 1.2 thousand subscribers. That's absolutely insane. There'll be a thank you video going up soon alongside the Trivial Rift update video. So if you want to get ahead and just know what the area is about before the update on Thursday, be sure to check that out as well, coming out tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, if you've got any ideas for the 1.2k subscriber special, comment them. Okay, let us know, tweet them at me, follow me on Twitter down below, because I'm just going to get a thank you video up. I honestly don't know what else to do. Like, montages have been suggested, but I've not got any good enough moments to put together a montage. But without further ado, guys, this is the top 5 beginning tips that I have found in Riders of Icarus, and all of these tips they're not going to make you a better player, but these are just tips that have helped me out while leveling from 1 to 35 and just saved me a little bit of stress trying to work things out for myself. So yeah, let's begin. When going to the auction house, be sure to type capital letters. Now, this may be fairly self-explanatory for a few other Dragonheart for 3 gold. Jesus, this may be fairly self-explanatory, but take thick cloth for instance. Thick cloth, if you type in thick with a small t, it's not going to come up. You have to have a capital letter at the start of each word, so that applies for cloth as well. So if you put in a tiny cloth, it takes away all search results that even had thick in it. So you have to have the capital C on cloth to make sure it's coming up. Now, I don't know why this is. Like, usually in MMOs, you just type in a keyword and anything with that keyword will pop up, but I don't know. You need a capital letter. It's weird. Moving on, guys, we have don't waste your loons on revival. Okay, so when you die, you get the option to self-revive and be taken back to somewhere. I don't know. I think it's like the nearest camp. Yeah, it's the nearest camp. Or you have the option to use 3 loons and have a blessed revival. Don't. Always do the self-revival. Don't waste your loons just because there's better things to spend them on. We'll go through that in just a second. But if you're out in the wild, you've not got anything worth 3 loons to revive you. Like, if you're doing a random quest, it's not worth 3 loons. If you're in a dungeon and the priest hasn't revived you, it's still not worth 3 loons. Like, literally, you might as well save your 3 loons, wait till the end of the fight, wait until the loot has gone through, everyone's gone to the boss, they've looted it, because you can still roll while you're dead, and then self-revive. And that's only if the priest is, like, refusing to revive you, which they shouldn't. They're a priest, they should get you back up on your feet. But if we go to the loon store, what you really ideally want to be saving your loons for is either buff and appearance items. Like, special and event are just they're pay to win items that are just never going to be purchasable with loons. But special and appearance, or appearance and buff, sorry, really do help you out, just because you can get familiar XP potions, tempering, success boosters, triumphant crafting, and you'd rather have a better chance at taming something than reviving yourself that one time when you may have accidentally get killed straight away as well. And then on appearance, in the next update, I think they'll be adding more items to the appearance. At the moment, you can see that wearing these does nothing. But if you go and if you earn through just different ways, you can get stuff like this, where if you actually equip it, it gives you more health, more critical damage, and better stats. And that's what you really want to be saving up or stacking loons for, because they are timed. But once you've got them, it just means you can easily solo, like, harder dungeons because you've got better stats. And then actually what you can do is equip all 4, so you can have a bag with better stats, you can have a normal costume that gives you more stats, you can have a weapon costume, and then a shoulder accessory, and just have a ton of stats. But as you can see, they've not added equipable effects to the items that are currently in the loon store, and you just generally don't want to be wasting your loons on pet boxes or really just like anything else. Like, I personally don't see the point in it. Portable storage master and everything, you might as well go for premium service. And the only really good thing out of a Hakanus pet lucky box that I've seen so far is the Lollipop Divine. Whereas in the Prakar Ferris pet boxes, which was out a couple of months ago, the best thing that you could get is the Ruined Spectre. So that was a slightly longer one, guys, but yeah, don't waste your loons reviving. Next up, guys, we have knowing your DPS and knowing your stance. So let me de-summon this. Now, in Riders of Icarus, there's a ton of different scenarios where you can either use standard walking combat or mounted combat. And take a look at the dungeons. The dungeons, for instance, you've got Lava Light Cave, the very first one being just walk through, you can summon your pets. You've then got Ruins of Matron, which allows you to actually be on your mount doing damage. And in the new area, the Breach, you will have a dungeon that's a bit of both, to be honest with you. So I do like that. But what you need to know is just when you need to be mounted in these dungeons, whether you want to be. Like, for example, if you've got a group of 5 and you go into Ruins of Matron and all of you are on your mounts, you're actually doing probably the least DPS as a group that you could possibly be doing. And that's just because on mounted combat, you do the same amount of DPS as you do when you're on the ground. Like, look, I'm on the ground, 945. I'm on my mount, 943. I said 945 just then. But what you want to watch out for when you're on your mounted combat is the stance you're in. So whether you do more damage with your crossbow or with your lance. Now, my lance is pretty rubbish compared to my crossbow. You can see the crossbow's got a magic attack effect and it's got plus 10 tempering. Whereas the frozen lance has only got 12 intelligence and no tempering at all. So to take the example back again, if all 5 of you went into Ruins of Matron and only used crossbow attacks, you would quite literally be doing the least amount of DPS that you could possibly be doing. Whereas if you were using all crossbow attacks, you would be doing slightly better. Just, well, in my case, I'd be doing slightly better DPS. But a lot of people tend to do mounted combat in Ruins of Matron because they have the option. Whereas if I get off my mount, once again, changing your crossbow and lance also affects DPS when you're on the ground. But if I summon up my pet now, I've currently reached my highest point of DPS of 1017. So actually going into Ruins of Matron, knowing that, yeah, I could mount up, I have the ability to, but not, and actually just summoning up a pet and going through it on foot, you're probably going to kill the enemies a lot quicker. I wouldn't say get through it a lot quicker, just because obviously being on a mount, you can outmaneuver them, and there's just a ton of pros and cons to every sort of stance you like work as. And a stance is literally just the switching of the crossbows or lance, and whether you're on your mount or not on your mount. Like, you can unsheath your weapon, that's the fighting stance, and that's like a standing stance. Like, there's so much to it, and there's so many more pros and cons that if you do want me to do another video on it, I will. But just know that you don't always have to be on your mount if you have the option to. You do a lot more DPS when you are using your pets. Play through the game and don't get too caught up on one mount, one dungeon, one quest. Now, I say this because while I was playing through the game, personally, I remember I really got caught up on Garm and Agnes the Red, rather than just general playing the game, collecting gold, going through the dungeons. And this is because I didn't realize or have too much experience with the game itself. So you'll see a lot of people getting to like level 25, getting to level 30 and being like, yeah, I'm a high enough level, I'll go for Garm, I'll go for Agnes the Red, just because they're level 25s. It's not really the point. Like, if you just level up all the way to 35, you'll start to realize that a lot of the materials and marks or recipes that you're trying to grind out for drop outright at later game anyway. So a few examples of this I used to grind out Kabim shadows for my Garm mark so much, like so much, whereas I could have just ground out Atius Peak because it has a chance of dropping, the complete Garm mark, and I could have got other better goodies alongside of that rather than just wasting my time trying to get 1 or 2 Kabim shadows. And it just goes further on. Parna's Coast Heroics mounts, all of their marks can be dropped by killing the Ixeran Badlands mounts, so you don't have to focus too much on one mount. Instead, find out if there's a mob or a dungeon that drops the outright mark and try and focus on grinding that, just because they have a better chance of dropping the mark itself rather than going through the whole steps of just getting the recipe and the materials. And then you also have the chance of getting other marks as well. So just play through the game, get a bit of experience, and don't get too caught up on taming one thing. Max level and then come back and tame everything then. For my last tip, guys, I really wanted to give you something revolved around gold, but I don't want to make up something just to fill it in. Like, what's the point? The tips that I've gone through now, just knowing how much DPS I can output, knowing that you have to put a capital letter on the auction, and just general other, just not getting caught up on things, is what really got me to the end game where I am now. And although I'm not too prepared for Terrestrial Rift, I will be doing videos on it and then just going through that as well. It's why my gear is so bad. But in terms of gold, all I've really done is run dungeons and just saved my gold. Like, I've got 13 gold on me at the moment. It's absolutely crap. Like, Jesus, it's like pittance money, penance, literally. But what you want to be doing is just running through dungeons and saving your gold. As I said with the marks, like, there are dungeons, there are world bosses, there are mobs that will outright drop marks. You don't want to be wasting your time grinding away for them. You don't want to waste your gold that you've done running dungeons. You want to save your gold mainly for just transit shrine passes. And then if you're a non-premium member, and even if you're a premium or non-premium and want to try and make some gold, get into alchemy and start selling health potions. Or is it even alchemy on this? What is it called? What's it called? It is called alchemy. I was right. Yeah. Sound. I thought it was like potion making or something. Yeah, get into alchemy and just start selling health potions. But guys, that's honestly everything that's just I've gone through. If you've enjoyed, be sure to leave that like down below. We're going to have a ton more videos out this week. Taming, Terrestrial Rift update videos. Terrestrial Rift is out on Thursday the 29th, I believe. Thursday the 29th, yeah. Because it was out Wednesday the 28th. But now it's been delayed by a day. So you've got another day. So we'll probably get a video out on just the general area and what you can expect for it tomorrow. But until that time happens, guys, thanks, and I'll see you on the next video.